Hey everybody, a friend of mine recently posted about organization and was asking kind of what we do. And I thought, this is a great opportunity to talk about my own organization usage. And as an event planner, I need to keep organized. There's a lot of information always coming at me. And if I don't keep a systematic approach to how I'm going to keep things in line, it can get quickly out of hand. And so I thought I would show you the system that I use in hopes that it helps you. So I'm going to share my screen. A lot of people have been talking lately about Monday, and I tried using it for a little bit. As you can see here, I've got some things in here, and I wasn't happy with it because it feels more like a database program than an actual task or project manager kind of thing. It's like feel like it's trying to do too many things at once, and I don't know if it's doing it very well. If I'm going to do something like a database, I would rather use something like Airtable here, so that I can go in and actually keep that information together. So like for this one, I've got my list of different retreat venues that I'm looking at, and breaking down information so I can see it at a glance real quickly and do some formulas for me. And then I can even click the revenues and the venues, and I can kind of see that tab and see information about them and some photos. So that's what I like about Airtable for that information. So that's why I didn't really latch on to Monday as much. What I do use for tasks is Asana, and I'm actually become an Asana ambassador for this. And I use Asana very much just because its basic approach is just task and project management and team collaboration, and it does it very well. So what I like about it is that I've got different workspaces for the different groups that I work with. I've got my different teams, and then each of those teams can have a different task or different project listing. So in my general here, you can see these are all general tasks. I got them sectioned out for me. The other thing that I like is each task can have a subtask. So if it's something that's huge, like compile draft policies and procedures, I mean, that can be kind of daunting. I can go through and I can actually break those down into smaller chunks. The other thing that I really like about it, especially when you're collaborating with people, is that each task has its own kind of information panel. And so you can see who's assigned to, the due date. You can put in a description or record a video even about it. And you can have subtasks, and each of those subtasks also has its own panel, which is great. And then the really good feature when you're collaborating is this kind of comment section, so you can go back and forth. So instead of having mass emails of back and forth and trying to figure out, okay, what did they say about that one task? I think it was in this one email. It's all right there attached to the actual task itself. And you can attach files, you can attach links, all sorts of stuff. And then you can, if this view isn't the greatest for you, you can change it to a board view if you like that Kanban view. You can see a timeline if you're doing a paid version, workflow. You can have a little dashboard for it. The other thing that I really love about this is when you go to print, if you need to take a paper version of this and you go to print, guess what? You're just getting the task list. None of this extra graphics or background stuff that's kind of always messy when you're trying to print from a web page. It just gives you the information and then any relevant due date and who it's assigned to. So I think that's wonderful. And then of course you've got, a dashboard going on of what your priorities are, what projects you have, the people you're working with. You can see just your tasks that you're assigned. And any reporting, are you on, when you're on a paid view, or goals, are you on track, are you not on track? And that's the same here. If you go into general and to overview, you can kind of see what's the status. You can say that, yep, we're on track. That's awesome. And you can put a summary. So that's what I like to use for Asana. For note taking, I used to use Evernote. Then I switched to OneNote because a friend of mine was, raving about it highly. We actually did a class together for genealogy called Battle of the Notes, and I talked about Evernote. She talked about OneNote, and so I've been trying to use this and seeing if I could get a handle on this. And it's nice. You can have notebooks, and then you can have sections underneath. You can promote and demote your note pages, I guess. And you can share things, but it's just when you go to put an attachment like a PDF, you either can put the attachment in there or it flattens it out like a bunch of picture of the pages. And I don't really like that as much. So I think I'm going back to Evernote. And the reason I like Evernote is, one, you've got your notebooks. You can stack notebooks together. You can share just a notebook if you wanted, or just a note. But then, they've really revamped Evernote and rebuilt the engine. They're making everything feel the same. So whether you're on the phone, you're on a Mac, you're on a PC, or you're using the web version, it's supposed to now all feel the same and not so disjointed, and work the similar. So I like that I can have my notes in here. One of the downfalls of OneNote is that the search I don't feel it's as robust. It can be sometimes hard to find things. But Evernote search is actually really powerful. It searches the content of the notes, and if you pay for a plan, it will even search content of PDFs and Word documents that you have put in here, which can be huge if you didn't have that information in the note itself, but you know that information's in the document. It'll look in there and try to find that for you and show you the relevant views. The other huge thing about it is you can tag your notes, which are big, because a note can't be in more than one notebook, but it can have multiple tags. So I have this, my commercials as tagged as BNI here and tagged as commercial. If I go to my meeting one, that one's BNI and meeting notes. Now I'm going to show you my genealogy one, just because this one is really shows how well this tagging can work. So I've got a birth certificate for my grandfather, and you can see down here I've actually got it tagged to quite a few different items. Birth certificate, his name, where I got it from, his last name. So all those different tags just help me keep that information connected in different ways. The other thing that they've done is, you can format notes. You can change headers, you can change colors, you can, do task lists. So for like this weekly meeting that I have here, as you can see, these are actually, I clicked and made them a checkbox, so I can actually go through if I need action items for a meeting and start checking those off. I can simplify formatting, I can remove it, I can add a table in here, a simple table. I can make it a task. I can add an actual task list item in here if I needed to, and assign a due date, when it's due, to who I need to assign it to. So it's kind of like Asana in that regard, that I can do it here. So if you wanted to just have everything in one, you could have things in here, and it'll actually show you tasks right there. In your own little task list, and you can create a new task as well if you oops, sorry, that's a new note. If you wanted to do just a task. And you can, they've got some templates. You got a to-do list. You can add more templates if you wanted, different templates that they have, and you can create your own as well. And you can share links. So if I needed this in Asana, I could just copy a web link and do it that way. Or even from Asana, I could copy that Asana task and paste that link in here. When I click on it, it'll take me to the Asana web version, and I can see that task. So there is a way to kind of sort of connect the two in a way. And I find these two tools really very helpful. One for the meetings and notes, and I can import things from the web. And if I have a PDF in here, for instance, like this, instead of it being flattened or just a little attachment, which it actually just places it in here, and I can actually scroll through like an actual PDF, and I can even copy information, highlight and copy things if I need to, or if I wanted to open it in Acrobat, I can just click on that, or I can save it out as something else. So there's different ways, and I can say, I want to see all the pages. It'll open them all up if I wanted to. So it's a great way to see it. I also love that you can see a preview of anything that's in there. And so it makes it really easy to find stuff. You can also make your own graphics to do that as well. So like in my genealogy research one here, I've made graphics that say plan, log, or to do, and all you do when you do that is just put the little icon at the bottom, and boom, it puts it in there. And so I can easily see that, oh, this is a research plan, this is a to-do list, This is a research log, and I can go through and I can see what the to-dos are. Or for the plan, I can put that information. I've got links to other records in Evernote here, so if I wanted to see that birth certificate, I can click on it and see it. I can see other people. I can put links to other outside things as well, but it's just very helpful to really organize my information and keep it accessible and handy. And the other thing that I really kind of like about this as well, and OneNote does this as well, I'm on the go a lot. I'm not always tied to my desk. I'm meeting with vendors, I'm meeting with clients, I'm looking at venues. And so I'm out and about. And so being able to just have that information right on my phone and being able to grab it if I need to or add to it is wonderful. If somebody gives me a piece of paper, say a map that they have, I can use an app. There's one called Scannable, and I can just take a picture of it right then and there and send it right to Evernote and have it, boom, automatically in there and ready for me when I get back to the office. So it's a great way to kind of eliminate some of the paper as well. If, because I still use paper, I still keep notes, but then I can easily, transfer them over if I need to. So that's just one way that I use these tools to keep organized, and I hope that helps. And if you would like to learn more on how to be organized, you can always contact me, and I would be more than happy to assist you in getting to a more organized work life.